Hello and welcome to another video. Today we're going to work on Vinyasa. So if you already know what Vinyasa is, then this will just be a review. And if you don't, then you'll find out. Let's begin. Just trying to think if you'll need anything today first before we get started. I don't think so. Nope, nothing. We need nothing. Just you and your mat. And we can begin in centering. So finding your Vinyasa child's pose, or of course, as always, if that's not accessible, whatever position is accessible for you today. Settling in, taking those first few moments, especially on the exhales, to sink and melt even more. As we take this time to make that clear delineation between life and practice. And of course, one affects the other, but it's nice to have that clear distinction, running around, getting stuff done, and then acknowledging that your practice, something amazing and healthy for you, is about to begin. Taking a moment or two to find your intention for your practice today. And that may be the same intention as it was yesterday and all the previous days, or maybe it's something different. There's so many benefits to yoga. Just picking one of them and really letting that resonate for a few moments. From here, take 3 slow, deep breaths through the nose. Really expansive breaths. At the top of each inhale, take an extra sip of air, feeling a gentle stretch in the lungs. And at the bottom of every exhale, squeezing out that last puff of air to make room for fresh new air to enter. Take all the time you need to finish up all 3 deep breaths. And when you're ready, start to move nice and slow towards that first downward facing dog. Taking, of course, that extra moment to ensure the hands are in a really good position, fingers pointing forward, and hands slightly wider than shoulders width apart for a good solid foundation. Tucking the toes under, hips press up and back to that first big V. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Maybe walking it out a little if that feels right for you. I know I like to just pedal it out a little bit. Get those few little snaps and crackles out before I begin. And then send the feet to the top of your mat, landing with the feet parallel. Just let the head hang for a moment. If that's too much of a stretch on the backs of the legs, or if you're feeling it too much in the low back, feel free to give a little bend to the knees. Otherwise, legs are straight. And then slowly, one vertebra at a time, make your way all the way up to standing. If you ever feel lightheaded when you make your way up, feel free to put one palm on the forehead I don't know the science behind it, but it sure does work for me. I often feel if you have a bit of low blood pressure at all, sometimes that can help to just place one hand on the forehead. And we'll get moving. We'll start with a couple of sun salutation A's just to get things warmed up a little bit. Now, when I first start out, I like to lower my knees first before chaturanga. And then as my wrists get warmed up and my core gets fired up, then I might add a little bit of like upward facing dog into the cobra. So adding always in those modifications wherever you need to, okay? Standing up nice and tall, shoulders back and down. Here we go. Inhale, raise the arms up. Remember your choices of arms. You can always step the arms apart if you need to. Otherwise, palms together. Drawing the arms back. If you're not quite warm yet, I'm certainly not. We don't want to go too far, so I'm not going 100%, like 70%. But still, try not to arch the back, tucking the tail under, belly scooping in. One more inhale to lengthen. On the exhale, gliding forward, using the glutes to lower nice and smooth to your standing forward bend. Just taking a moment here. I like to warm up nice and slow that first one. Even in my own personal practice, I go really slow that first one. Inhale, looking up to the horizon for flat back. And exhale down. Bend the knees, plant the hands, send the feet back to a strong plank, belly scooping in. So either keep the legs straight if you like. I like to gently lower my knees for my first one. You don't have to. When you lower chaturanga, think of it as a core exercise. Pelvic floor pulls up, belly scoops in. At the same time, squeeze the shoulder blades together, holding here. If you're not holding comfortably here, lower the knees down, okay? And then inhaling for cobra or upward facing dog if that's in your practice. Either way, letting the upper back take a lot of that curve. And heading up and back to downward facing dog. Remember, try not to worm up in that push-up, but rather just push with the arm strength. And up and back to your downward facing dog or child's pose, always accessible. Few deep breaths here. Maybe a few little more Rice Krispie sounds. And send the feet forward all the way to the top. Inhaling for flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up using glutes, reaching up high. Exhale to a tall mountain. Flowing a little bit quicker, that second one. Inhale, arms go up. Exhale, gliding forward. Inhale for flat back. Exhale down, heading back to plank, belly scooping in and lower. Squeeze shoulder blades together. Inhale for cobra or upward facing dog. Either way, shoulders back and down. And exhale, downward facing dog. Couple deep breaths. Allowing the heels to melt down towards the earth. Send the feet forward all the way to the top. Inhaling for flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up, reaching up high, getting taller. And release to a tall mountain. Last one to get a little warm. Arms go up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale for flat back. Exhale down, heading back to plank, belly scooping in, and lower, chaturanga. Inhale, wide open shoulders, squeezing shoulder blades together and down the back. Belly scoops in to lift the hips up and back to your big V. Long, slow, deep breaths. And send the feet forward. Inhaling for flat back. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up, reaching up high. And exhale to a tall mountain. Here we go. Inhale, arms go up. Exhale, gliding forward. Inhale for flat back. Exhale down, heading back to plank, belly scooping in, and lower, chaturanga. Inhale, maybe you're still doing just a little baby cobra. That is okay. Belly scoops in, heading up and back to downward facing dog. From here, we'll head into warrior one, Virabhadasana 1. If you like to do that, oh, I'm in the room. The three-legged down dog first, you can do so. Traditionally, we don't, but it's a nice extra stretch. And then right foot steps forward, behind the right wrist, back heel spins down to the ground to come up. Warrior one. So if you're a bit more of a beginner, maybe the front leg's a little bit less bent. Maybe our stance is a bit wider this way. Either way, don't go too far if you're not very warm. If you're more advanced, make this challenging by pressing your palms together. Draw those arms back, back, back. Use that front glute. Maybe try pressing that heel down into the floor to get the glute activated. Feel that stretch in the back hip. Breathing deep. If you're more advanced, make it deeper. If you're not, just hang tight wherever you can. Last deep breath. From here, release the pose just a little. Belly scoops in. We'll turn to face the long edge of your mat. We need to shuffle the feet a little bit so that we get a heel to arch alignment for Virabhadasana 2, Warrior 2. So long arms. Double check that back arm is right behind you. Front arm is right in front of you. If you're more advanced, deepen the bend. Use that glute, maybe pressing down into that front heel. And you can sort of check to see, are you back too much? Are you forward too much? Just kind of look down. Is your sternum right above the pelvis? Because we don't want to be surfing or like hanging back here. Belly scooping in. That's 4 and 5. So here's where we take our vinyasa. What I'm going to do is my back arm, it's like swimming, up and over. Frame the front foot as my back heel spins up. This is our vinyasa. Front foot steps back to plank, and we lower chaturanga. Inhale up to cobra or up dog, and then downward facing dog. We all meet. I'm just going to backtrack for a sec. If you're like, Carla, that's insane, I'm not doing that, especially when we start progressing to hour-long classes, what you do instead is swim down or windmill down through lunge, and then you just skip the vinyasa part and go either to down dog or take a second child's pose. Okay? So we'll all meet in downward facing dog and prepare for the left. Starting with warrior one. Oh, right, we could do the three leg if you want to. So traditionally we don't, but it's a nice little like spot that you can get one more extra stretch in. Back heel spins down. Use that front glute to come on up. Belly scoops in. Remember your options for if you're more advanced or if you're like, I just need a rest. So not completely straight because warrior one, the front leg is bent. But if you're struggling with this, definitely don't bend as much. If you're like, it's easy, bend into that front leg. Make it funner. Breathing deep. Press the palms together, draw the arms back, scoop the belly in, tuck the tail under. Breathing deep. Heading into warrior two. So we release a little, turn to face the long edge of the mat, and then we need to shuffle the feet a little bit to get that heel to arch alignment. It might be a bit longer stance for warrior two. And here we are. Same things again. Back arm right behind you, front arm right in front of you, and you're not leaning forward or back. So even just look, is my pelvis straight? Is my spine straight? Bending into that front leg, even pressing into the heel, make sure you're using the glute. Try not to use the quads. You're going to use the quads, but try to get the glute working. It's going to say, no, I don't want it. Make it work. Breathing deep. Here's our vinyasa. We head down through lunge, back heel spins up. Either head to child's pose or downward dog, or for extra challenge, back through plank, lowering chaturanga. Inhale, shoulders way back and down. Sternum lifts up. And exhale, downward dog, or child's pose, just for a couple deep breaths. From here, we're going to just carry on. So, right leg, maybe it sweeps up for a three-legged. And we'll step it forward all the way to warrior two. So right foot steps forward between the hands, or maybe it's nowhere near between the hands, but it's forward-ish. And then back heel spins down. We windmill all the way up to warrior two. We wind up in a heel to arch alignment. Ta-da! If you don't want it up here, just sort of shift. Somehow I got hair in my face because I'm wearing lip gloss. I don't know how to girdle very well, so I wear the lip gloss and then the hair sticks to it like Velcro. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Okay. Wore lip gloss is what I did wrong. Okay, we're in warrior two. What are we doing? Side angle. Okay, so Utthita Parsvakonasana. Phase one, use the forearm against the upper leg. That other arm is alongside the ear. So you're looking for eventually one straight line from the fingertips to the toes. At first, it's a little bit challenging to do that. You might be a little bit more of an angle, but we're looking to drop the hips. Phase two, actually, I'm going to back up a bit. If that's too much on the top shoulder, just bring the arm down to wherever it feels comfortable. Or maybe it just can't go forward as much and you need to be more like this. Eventually opening up heart to the sky. Phase two, either on a block or the floor, eventually behind the front knee. So you're opening up the knee, pressing into the shoulder. Phase three is kind of fun. We bind. So bottom arm goes through and top arm goes behind. Either way, we open up heart to the sky. FYI, phase three, oh, where'd my camera go? There you are. Phase three is not the traditional form. So phase two is traditional, how the proper way to do the posture is. Phase three is a little bit more challenging, but traditional. To come out in whatever phase you're in, come all the way up. Here we do our vinyasa. So remember your options. Directly to child's pose or downward dog, or either way, we start with a spin down to lunge and then head into your options. Either child's pose or downward dog, or back through plank, lowering chaturanga. Inhale, wide open shoulders. And exhale, downward facing dog. Ready for the next side. So we'll all meet together in downward facing dog. Now, left foot steps forward between the hands, so it might not be very far forward, but I mean as opposed to outward. Does that make sense? Ooh. Back heel spins down, Windmill all the way up to warrior two. Preparing for extended side angle. Whatever variation you did on the first side, do the same one on the other side unless there's an injury, okay? So I'm going to head right into phase 3. Breathing deep. In either variation, opening up heart to the sky, dropping the hips as much as available, and breathing deep. And come on up through warrior two. We windmill down through lunge, and remembering your options, child's pose or downward dog, or for that extra challenge, back through plank, lowering chaturanga. Inhale up, and exhale, downward facing dog. And then we head into, this is our last posture coming up for this class. So for this one, we'll head into warrior two once again. So right foot step between the hands, back heel spins down, we windmill up. Don't have to make the sound effects, but it's funner. Warrior two. From here, we'll prepare for Utthita Trikonasana, triangle pose. We'll straighten that front leg, but for triangle, this is a bit too long of a stance for most of us. So we shorten up the stance a little bit. Arms in a T. Try to keep the legs stuck in mud. So legs are straight for this posture. Reach into the front of your mat. And then place the palm directly onto the shin or upper leg. For most of us, it's kind of sad because this is like the right place. But if you're not there yet, above the knee. Placing a bit of weight into it, it protects the low back. Scoop the belly in and raise the top arm up to the sky. Breathing deep here. Eventually, maybe the hand goes lower to the ankle. And eventually, onto the floor behind the front leg. Or on the outside, I should say. To come out of triangle, traditionally we keep straight legs. That's challenging if you don't have a very strong core yet. So feel free to come up through warrior two so you can bend that front leg. If you have the strength, come up with straight legs. Otherwise, bending that front leg. And we vinyasa, heading down through lunge. Remembering your options, either to child's pose or downward dog, or for that extra challenge, back through plank. Lowering chaturanga. Inhaling up. And exhale, downward facing dog. Ready for our last time, last side. Left foot steps forward between the hands, back heel spins down. We windmill up to warrior two. From here, we prepare for triangle, shortening up that stance a little bit. Get both legs straight. Belly scoops in. We reach towards the top of the mat with that left arm. And then place the left palm with a bit of weight into that shin or the upper leg. And breathing deep. Top arm up to the sky. If available, remember you can always lower it back, behind your back, or down to your hip. To come out, remembering your options for legs, you can bend that front leg if you need to. And we vinyasa, heading down through lunge. Remembering your options, either child's pose or down dog, or for that extra challenge, back through plank. Lowering chaturanga. Inhale up, wide open shoulders. And exhale, downward facing dog. Last downward facing dog. And then gently lower through hands and knees. And we're done. That's it. Preparing for Shavasana already. So getting your teddies and blankies or bolsters, whatever you need to feel comfy. And laying all the way down. As always, if your back needs a little extra support today, feel free to keep those knees bent with the feet on the floor. Otherwise, extending arms and legs, palms facing up along your sides. And close the eyes. Softening everything, everything. See if you can for a moment feel what's happening within. Can you feel your heart beating? If you really listen closely, can you hear it? If you relax enough, can you find yourself in rest and digest? You'll know you're relaxed when your tummy starts gurgling a little. Allowing yourself to become heavy enough and relaxed enough to feel all of those things. And especially softening through the neck and the shoulders and all the way down the arms. Letting the fingers softly curl. Softening through the face. Softening around the eyes. And even the muscle between the eyes. Just letting it all go. And starting to come back. Wiggling fingers and toes. Gently roll your head from side to side. And reaching your arms above head on the floor, give yourself a big stretch, feeling totally refreshed. Bending your knees one at a time. Gently roll over to your right side. And pause there for a moment as you come back, letting your body adjust. And taking all the time you need, start to press yourself all the way up to a comfortable seated position. When you arrive, palms facing up on the knees. Inhale, sitting up tall. And exhale, softly close the eyes. Bringing your attention and awareness back to your intention from the beginning of class. Feeling that within, resonating within you. Reminding yourself you're one more step closer to your intention today. Taking a moment to thank yourself for showing up to your practice and taking care of you. And one more additional thought for someone else who might need that today. And slowly open the eyes. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Remember to leave any comments or questions in the comment section. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.